Yes, I'd like to welcome you back to another episode of the Grill the Podcast Show, baby. And you know what that sound means. Boom, boom, boom. Yes, I've been strolling and trolling through the world of media and madness. And it's not that mad today. I mean, it's a little mad, but the first story I start off, or first article I get into, is kind of crazy. But let's just jump right off into this thing. Okay. You go and order your fast food, right? You pull up to the window. I hadn't been to a fast food one in a while, but I don't order some Papa John's pizza. I might tag you in the Papa John's. But yeah, so you go up to a fast food to the window, and you're ready to get your order, and you have an issue. What's your response? The most human response is, give me my money back. If you can't get my order right, just give me my money back. If you can, listen, I don't want to hear, that's how it goes. Like, really? But this 19-year-old girl in Chicago, she decided to pull out her pistola, her gun, and pow, and shoot the window out. Now, of course, you're saying, why is he mentioning this? Of course, you know, on the Grill the Podcast Show, there's always something behind the story that they don't talk about in the media. So I'm just going to briefly discuss it with you. So this young lady gets upset with her order. Instead of just saying, give me my money back. You stupid. Listen, just give me my money. I'll go to another restaurant. Just give me my money back. She shoots the window up. Why? I don't know if she's a frequent buyer from this place, but let's start with the honest fact. And you know this if you're listening to me. There are a lot of chemicals pumped into that food. And all those chemicals are tested on rats and whatever animal that they can get to eat it, and test them out and see how it works. The lab rats, however, not necessarily rats all the time, but they test these chemicals out on animals and see how they're going to respond from the withdrawal. Now, all of the chemicals we know that are pumped into regular food, every food actually, you have to think, for all the violence that you see and I see across the news that's connected with fast food restaurants or fast food in particular, it has to be a chemical dependency, right? I mean, you have to be honest with yourself, because at first I'm like, well, maybe her mama should have just taught her to cook. And as I'm writing that part down, I'm like, nah, there's more to it, because for you to act violently, it's like a drug. You've heard of drug dealers, people going through heroin withdrawal, or drug, any type of withdrawal. They get violent. That's the first level they go to, is violence. So you have to ask yourself, with everything that's going on surrounding fast food restaurants, even with the employees, just snapping like that immediate, like I'm gonna go off type of idea. I saw one video, this lady, it was over $3, and she kept saying, I think it was like $3, she kept saying it herself, oh, $3, but she is ready to fight everyone in there because she couldn't get her food. I mean, it has to be chemical, because unless it's COVID or chemical, you take it. But I don't think it's COVID. I just think it's the chemical withdrawal, because these people are obviously getting their head so focused on, I want this food, I gotta have this food, and when they can't, they snap. Just like withdrawal, it's withdrawals. You mean to tell me I can't get? You messed up my order. It was supposed to be in my hand in 5 minutes, and then they just snap. So it has to be something chemical. Yes, that was a good joke. I didn't bother laughing because it was a little too effective. Because you get my point. Because there's no way you're gonna tell me that these people just waking up on the wrong side of the bed. Because that's another option. Maybe they woke up on the wrong side of the bed, went to the fast food restaurant, very upset, hungry, and that don't make sense. Because the one girl, she had her daughter with her, and she wasn't scared of the police. It's like these people don't think they're going to jail. You tear up a restaurant, they got your picture, they gonna come lock you up. Of course, we'll never see that part. But yeah, so that's what I saw. Of course, it has to be a chemical dependency. So if you're a fast food eater, I mean, maybe you can help me out with that. Who just can't go without. I know someone that loves the Mac rib, but they don't eat it as much as they say they do, because it's a seasonal thing. And I always tell her, hey, eat. It ain't gonna be there all the time. It ain't gonna hurt you. If you have a seasonal chemical dependency, the taste of something that only comes to, like, what's that? The pumpkin spice lattes at Starbucks. People actually wait for these things. So there's a chemical connection or a neurological connection with these things. So I think the violence is about the chemicals, but I'm not a scientist. I'm just gonna throw that at you and hardball it. Maybe one of my strolling and trolling, my big time journalists will go ahead and say, "Ooh, he gave me a good idea," and they'll use it. So I'm gonna skip on into my the next segment of the Grilder Podcast Show. Bible quote in sheriff's office. I'm for real about that though. A sheriff actually has I can do all things through Christ, and he has people trying to tell him to take it down, make him to take it down, however they want to do it. Basically, my whole point, and why I'm telling you this, I have to explain why I'm telling you everything, because they've taken God out of everything. Now, Christ, we know, understand, yes, Christ is the Son of God. I do know that. If you believe, however you want to believe, Christians are followers of the life of Christ. Yes, that's just in the book. Now, if you're one of those people, you're like, oh, religion, it's not about religion, because we have to believe in something. For the people that don't believe in God, they actually don't believe in God. That's their belief. You get what I'm saying? They're not going to say they believe in science because that's Scientology. They're going to say, I just don't believe in God. Okay, that's your belief. That's literally, if they gave that, of course they try to call those people satanic or whatever they call them. I don't care. But at the end of the day, it's your right to not believe in God. And of course, there's a separation of church and state and all those laws to keep the Bible and God out of everything, except off of our mighty dollar, our money. In God we trust, right? So, so you got that. You got the same people telling this guy who has within his honor code, especially with law enforcement, there's God in there somewhere. There's God in the Pledge of Allegiance. So you're telling him to take this down, his belief in Christianity, and the guy's like, I'm not taking it down because I don't want to go to hell. That's a fear. A lot of people fear going to hell. You remember some years ago they had that thing with the rapture, Y2K and Y2K. It's over. This the rapture, and you had all these people talking that foolishness, and they woke up the next day and all they had was a bad computer. I'm sorry, but that's true. So so that, we need to kind of ease up. At this point in time, religion is all we got, because COVID is coming, and if you let them tell you, Omegatron is going to get you. No COVID on this episode, but yeah. So I'm gonna go into the next segment. Now this is kind of bad for the holiday season. It is real bad for the holiday season. So this guy in San Antonio, Texas, is chilling in his room, watching some, he's chilling in his Motel 6 room, watching probably some porn, watching TV, and somebody tapped on the window. That's me knocking. Taps on the window and asks the guy, hey, look, man, you got some money I can get? So the guy, being a good Samaritan, he gives the guy the money. But the guy turns around and say, hey, bro, this ain't enough. Bow! Shoots the guy. No joke. I didn't make that up. Sorry if the bow was too loud. But shoots the guy. And then the guy ends up wrestling the guy and takes the gun from him and shoots him. So they are basically fighting over giving, fighting over being a good Samaritan, fighting over having a good heart. So the guy in the hotel room tried to help the guy. But see, here's the thing. And I can tell you, just coming from this time of year, actually, being homeless at one point there in Atlanta, being homeless there, this is the time of year where people give. And if you're one of those people, you want to give, even with me, I try not to keep cash in my pocket, because if a homeless person asks me, or if someone in need, I don't care whatever, it's up, hey bro, can you give me some money for liquor? Hell no. But if somebody that I think or I feel in my heart is in need, I'm gonna give it to him. So this guy had to knock on the door. Well, first off, someone knocks on your door that you don't know, don't answer it. We all do that. We look out the peephole and be like, is that Mr. Jackson from across the street? Baby, Mr. Jackson from across the street at the door. I think that Mr. Jackson. Let me clip my glasses. Nah, that's his grandson. What the hell his grandson doing over here? And then you do what everybody do. Boy, what you want? What you want? What you want? You talk from behind the door. You don't open the door. But this guy being a good Samaritan, it's the season of giving. He opened the door and he became a victim of crime. Not his choice, but he said, in the article, he said, hey, I thought the guy was going to rob me. I think he was going to rob you, but the way he was going to rob you was going to be so violent that you probably wouldn't have known you were robbed until the cops found you either dead or unconscious, or someone found you unconscious. I think that was his goal. If he had pulled out enough money, the guy was going to rob him anyway. He was going to either shoot him, rob him, hit him upside the head with the gun, knock him out so he could rob him. Either way it go, it was a robbery. But it turned out it wasn't enough money, so the guy got upset. Like, I put my bullets in my gun for this. So he got upset and he shot the guy. So my whole point, why am I saying this? The grill, Elijah, you need to shut up. You be saying some stupid stuff. The reason I'm saying this, because this is the season for giving. But if you do not feel like giving, if you out there strolling through the mall this weekend, I'm going to get something, going shopping, and a guy you got some money for me? You have every right to ignore him. Don't look at him. Don't engage him. Just ignore him. Because one thing about panhandlers, they hate being ignored, and all you gonna get is, motherfucker, I can't stand people like you. That's all you gonna get. Take it, keep going, because you don't want to put yourself in a situation where now you've given them that 3 feet of safety, that COVID space that you shouldn't be giving them anyway, and become a victim of crime. Some years ago, I took some OSHA training, and it talked about how women become a victim of crime, because the assumption is, first, every woman thinks a man is trying to flirt with them. Hey, baby, what's up? Hey, girl, what's up? He getting close, he touching on it, ooh, I know I look good. Get your hands off me. And then he pulls out a gun and he robs you. See, that's the mindset. Women, of course, and with dudes, all of us think we so bad. Hey, what's up, man? Nah, I ain't got nothing for you. Why you at you? Then you want a confrontation with somebody. You want to tell them how bad you are. Man, I'll put my foot in your ass. You come over here trying to take my man. Just ignore them, because most panhandlers, they have to go on to the next person. Now, if it's somebody that's just harassing you, following you, like, oh, you gonna give me some money, it's something up. So just be mindful. It is the season for giving. I think that'll be the season of giving until New Year's Eve. But yeah, it's the season of giving. So just be mindful. If you don't want to give, don't engage. That's my advice. That's why I brought the article up. If you don't want to give to somebody, don't engage. Do not engage. I do have something about COVID, but it's not COVID. It's some data. It's just some nerd stuff. Just some nerd bird stuff from me. If you want some nerd bird stuff, it's going to come at the end. I'll bring it at the end. Now, this was a funny one, and I'm hoping you find the comedy in this one. Joe Biden has went on record saying, I would look forward to a rematch with Trump for the presidency of the United States. Man, enough is enough. Enough is enough. Like, kill that. Let that go. They voted Trump out because they was unhappy with him. Now they gonna try to vote you out because they unhappy with you. I said this on episodes way back in the Grill the Podcast show. We don't vote off policies. We vote habit. How he do for 4 years? I don't know, baby. What you think? You think we should cast this ballot for him? Or just stay at home and eat some Cheetos? So it's enough is enough. And Mr. Biden, they have these people that are around you are brainwashing you. They are playing you. It's a whole generation, another generation they're playing with. It's a social media generation. They're playing information and putting it in your head from a social media standpoint. Don't nobody want to see you against Trump. We don't. We want to see one of those strong voices that can't even get a moment to shine in politics, because all mainstream media wants is a rematch. Boombaye, Ali, boombaye. That's all they want. They want a rematch. Why? I don't know. So it could just go the same way, because I've said again, if you vote Trump in 4 years, then Trump do his 4 years, you're going to vote Biden in. So they're going to be playing presidential tennis for the next 8 years. Your turn, match. Your turn. That's me making some click sounds. But yeah, so I mean, let's no, Mr. Biden. I saw one report. They say you're doing better despite having a bad hand. That's what the mainstream media sounds like to me. You're doing better besides having a bad hand. So you've been dealt a bad hand, but you're doing great. Hey, continue to do great, man. Of course, everything with the vaccine. You don't worry. You're going to get pushed back on everything. Abraham Lincoln got pushed back when he said, I'm going to emancipate the slaves. Are you crazy? Who's going to man my fields? So there's always going to be pushback. Don't worry about it. Just keep doing what you're doing. But hey, this whole you convinced yourself that Trump is the best candidate. Hey man, I'm just waiting on that sleeper to come up and say, this is my policies for America. And, come up with a good slogan like Obama did and be like, uh-oh, you got some competition. But I mean, hey, maybe I'm just wishing. But hey, that's what I saw. I mean, he's in it. Trump versus Biden too. I don't know. I mean, it's a media blitz. They got out there. The best candidate they think they got is Trump. But they need to look further. They need to look deeper into the Congress. Look deep into some of these local. Please start looking. Democratic Party and the Republican Party, the Independent, whoever got all the money. You need to start looking for somebody to support so they can run for the president of this great nation. Because at the end of the day, and Biden did say this, he said if he's in good health in 4 years, he would love to run again. At least that was the most realistic thing that he said. Now I'm going to go into some controversial. We have a controversial report on the Grilled Podcast. I don't know where this stuff's coming from, but I think I'll be thinking it when I'm getting prepared to do the episode. But basically, I told you yesterday how a lot of these politicians and news media people basically coming after the unvaccinated. So I had to go a little deeper. I'm like, what is the issue? Like, who are they talking about? And then I found out that there's a close to 50% rule between whites, Hispanics, and blacks. If you don't know this, please spread this. It's between 50 and 58%, no higher than 60. 58% of white Americans are vaccinated. 56% of Hispanics are vaccinated. 51% of blacks are vaccinated. And I'm only naming those three because it was at the end of the report when I had to read, it was majority ethnic backgrounds. So those were the majority three in America: whites, Hispanics, and blacks, or however they want to say it. So it's a close to 50% rule. Now, I understand. Now, when you look at the numbers, oh, hell yeah, they're pissed. You get it? Half of America is vaccinated. Half. And half of them aren't. So within the whole scope of getting sick, it's not happening like they thought. Now, of course, we have lost people. God knows we have lost people. Rest in peace. But the numbers are showing that there is a unified resistance to getting vaccinated. Now, I'm not going to talk about Omicron or Megatron. We're going to go back to the original COVID when the vaccine first hit. I think the vaccine's been around for going on a year now, or they've been talking about it. So 50% of Americans, at first I thought it was going to get into like black people, like on the low end, and white people on the high end. They tried that at the beginning, but I kept reading. I'm like, that don't make sense. Then they start throwing different numbers. I'm like, that didn't add up. And then I got to the end of the article on the CDC's website. I'm sorry. On CDC's, per the CDC, basically when you do the numbers as a collective race, as a collective people, humans on this American soil is between 50 and 58% that's vaccinated. So now I see why you're an idiot. And I was discussing with someone very special to me. The whole point is, did anybody knock on your door and offer you the vaccine and you said no? Who is it? Who is it? It's Bubba from down the street. I was wondering, do you feel like being vaccinated today? Bubba, what you doing over here? When you get out of jail? This is part of my parole. I have to go around asking people if they want to be vaccinated and taking notes. So do you have vaccine, Bubba? No. I just need you to say no so I can go back and tell people you said no because you're an idiot. What the hell is going on? Good joke, right? That was a good skit. But I can tell you now. I'm gonna try to cover the whole thing as a America, the leaders of the white community, the black community, and the Hispanic community need to be saying the same thing. But that's not happening, because in the black community they on Shade Room and all them drama. They want to find out what's going on with the latest rapper and who got shot. They don't want to hear nothing about no COVID. And most of white America is tired of hearing about that shit. Like, y'all been throwing this down our throat for months. We are tired. And then Hispanics, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what they're saying. But there needs to be a collection of leaders and health officials that go on to TV together, holding hands, kumbaya, my lord. I'm sorry, is that a song? But yeah, they need to do that and show some unification for the American public and show that all races are at the same point. Because the loudest people in the room right now speaking out against and calling us stupid and things like that are white politicians and white media people. Now the black celebrities are like, I just want to let you know I had COVID. You don't want this. Get the shot. And that's it. I think there needs to be more outreach if you want to reach the American people. That's just my opinion. I mean, because being pro-vaccine is different from being just pro-life and pro-do what the government says. It's different. So I just think they need to come together. If they come together and they mend that like our politicians, then it'll be a beautiful thing. I mean, Ben Carson, he's saying one thing about COVID, then it's just they're not together on it. So hey, that's what I found, and that's my opinion on I had some more to say, but I'm not gonna say it because that's a touchy subject. But the data doesn't lie. As Americans, all races, we are almost 55% vaccinated ethnically, okay? Because I'm not talking babies. These are adults. These are adults. White males, white females, Hispanic males, Hispanic females, black males, black females. That's the whole collection. And even if you're non-binary, you're in there. So that's how that goes. That's data. But like I said, in closing, if there's a unified front for pushing this vaccine on the American people, it needs to be that whole melting pot of our culture. And this has been another episode of the Grilled Podcast Show, Strolling and Trolling. And welcome to the Grilled.